love, what's up? Welcome to Confidently Uncomfortable. I'm your host, J.Go, health and lifestyle coach and not-so-regal confidence queen. Coming at you with the real, the raw, and of course, the uncomfortable. My mission is to show you that to be confident, it has absolutely nothing to do with being perfect or having it all together, and everything to do with you getting uncomfortable and pushing your limits. Thanks for joining me. Let's dive in. I just made a post on Instagram, and it had to do with just things I'm sick of seeing coaches do. And this is something that I've wanted to speak on for a while. I've kind of touched on before, but I just really think it's important to chat about because I'm working with so many clients who come to me who have worked with previous coaches who literally are so negative to them. They're putting them down. They're essentially gaslighting their clients and making them feel guilty, like anything they're doing wrong is essentially their fault and you should never question the coach. And it makes me sick. It makes me sick because it really messes up so many women's mental health because they're going to a coach thinking they're going to get support and accountability, and maybe they're going in wanting to lose weight, and there's nothing wrong with wanting to lose weight. But when you're getting treated like shit because you didn't do exactly what the coach said, or because anything you do wrong, it must mean that it's your fault and not the fact that they're setting you up for failure from the start, the way that they're coaching you. And so I want to talk a little bit about that more. Like I said, I made an Instagram post about this, so if you haven't gone and checked it out, feel free to go read it. If you've ever had a coach before that has done any of these things, I would love to hear from you, because I'm talking to more and more women who are like, oh my gosh, me too, I've dealt with that. And it really, really bothers me. So today I really want to talk about things I'm seeing in the coaching industry that are just not okay. And then also I'm going to talk about how you can, first of all, recognize those red flags, but then also set boundaries so that you're standing up for yourself and this doesn't happen to you again. And this idea of gaslighting doesn't just happen with coaches. It can happen with your boss, your coworkers, your relationships, partners, everything like that. So I just want to make sure that we go through it all. If you have questions, feel free to ask. This is really going to be somewhat of an open discussion. I was feeling super heated when I was speaking on it. And if I had gotten on yesterday, I would have been chewing out this coach and probably name calling. And I have chosen not to do that. I'm instead going to inform the consumer in a way that you guys can just be informed in that way. So things I'm sick of seeing, and this is the post I kind of started with. I'm so sick of seeing coaches gaslight their clients. So if you've ever had a coach tell you that you have to eat 1,200 calories to lose weight, or if you've ever had a coach that tells you you have to stick exactly to their meal plan. Let's say they write you up this meal plan and it's broccoli, rice, and tilapia for every single dinner for 4 weeks straight. And that's the only way. They tell you if you're but I don't like broccoli or I don't like rice, they're if you want to lose weight, you need to eat this. And they don't give you another out. They don't tell you another way. That's gaslighting. That is making you feel like you're in the wrong when really it was your gut telling you that this doesn't feel right. But then basically the reaction of a coach telling you that you're wrong is a gaslighting procedure. Basically, it's making you feel oh, maybe I am wrong. Maybe I shouldn't question his methods. I know I use his a lot, but that's because so often it is male coaches that I'm dealing with, but I'm not saying it's all men. I follow a lot of amazing male coaches. I've had a male coach in the past, but man, this shit pisses me off. The other thing is, so sticking with the meal plan, and then if you don't stick to the meal plan, if you are I went out to eat, it was my kid's birthday, or this, that, and the other, then they're oh, are you not serious enough about this? You don't really care about losing weight, or blah, blah, blah. I'm seeing this idea of talking down and belittling your clients as a way of motivating them, and that's not the right way. You can push your clients, I definitely think that that's important, but I'm literally seeing in the coaching industry you're pushing their pain points and their trauma in a way that's not helpful. And I'm seeing these women come to me with coaches who literally would talk down to them as a way to motivate, or they were so caught up in their own ego that they weren't willing to shift on anything if their client needed some changes. And it's just not right. So if you're having a coach that's making you feel that way, that's not okay. Even if it's not a coach, if it's a diet, if you're going into a diet program that the diet is like, you don't eat this, or you only eat these 5 foods for 30 days and blah, 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 and you're feeling like, wait, but I'm not happy. Like, yeah, maybe I lost weight, but like, do I have to keep doing this? Like, if it's something that you feel like you cannot continue for your life, like lifetime, then that's not something you should be doing. And if someone's telling you that that's the only way you can reach your goals, that's bullshit. I'm calling bullshit on that. So don't let someone treat you like that or make you feel like that. It breaks my heart seeing so many women come out of basically abusive coach client relationships where they're being treated like shit, and they're being told that like, oh, like you hit a plateau because you're not doing enough, when really they hit a plateau because you started them off at such low macros that you already put them into a plateau position. You lowered their metabolism and you fucked up their hormones long term, and that's not okay. They're so caught up in their own like success and numbers and ego that they're not willing to really look at the client as an individual and as a human, and that's not okay with me. So I've always felt a little bit weird in the fitness industry because I always felt like, well, I don't really belong because, you know, I'm not super strict. I love fitness and I love fun and I love finding more of a balance, and I'm totally fine with wanting to lose weight, but I think if it's consuming you, that's not okay. And I think that if you're hating your body into change, that's not okay either. And sometimes I feel like that's not the approach that I see a lot of coaches making, but I know that I'm meant to be here because you need to hear this. You need to hear that that is not the way to create long-term lifestyle change, because I've had so many clients who have come to me actually having lost weight and they're still not happy. They still don't feel confident in their skin. They still don't feel good enough because they've essentially been bullied into feeling that their entire lives, whether it's from coaches or parents or relationships or whatever, and that's just not okay. So I want to end this with just talking boundaries and kind of how to recognize that maybe it's a sign you should start setting boundaries. So I've set a post about like if your coach is gaslighting you, so if they're telling you to only eat 1,200 calories, or you have to stick to this meal plan, or they shame you in any way, whether you're eating out or you mess up, you need to drop them. Like, that's not the best way. Don't think that that's the only way you can lose weight, because it's not. There's a way more body positive approach to your fitness, and it's going to make such a longer term change, and you're not going to end up needing to go to therapy after this. Not that therapy is great, honestly, but it shouldn't be because you're a coach making you go there. So as far as setting boundaries and realizing like maybe this is a sign. So if you're any of those things, yes, you should drop your coach immediately. Seriously, this is a conversation I just had with someone. Other signs you need to set boundaries. So if you are constantly feeling responsible for other people's happiness, so if you're feeling guilty or responsibility that other people's happiness is your job, that's a sign number one. If you're feeling responsible to fix other people's problems all the time, and you're feeling like that's like it's completely consuming you, that their problems and they're not happy and all this issue, and you're trying to always carry that for other people, that's a sign of needing boundaries. If you're feeling guilty over even the smallest things, like if you're feeling guilty for even wanting to have some more time for yourself, or wanting to work out, or wanting to invest in yourself, that guiltiness is not, that's just a sign that you need to start setting boundaries and make that investment in yourself. If you are someone that's like a yes woman like me, like I was such a yes man, saying yes to everyone else's needs but my own, putting my own needs on the back burner, and struggled so much to say no to people when I didn't have the energy or capacity to help them. And so that's you, sign you need a boundary. And if you avoid sharing your opinion to avoid confrontation. So if you're anti-confrontation and you don't want to tell someone how you're feeling or how they're making you feel, that's another sign that you need to set a boundary and even have some real conversations with people. And then finally, if you find it difficult to express your needs to others because out of fear of judgment or just feeling guilty or whatever that is, that's another sign that you probably need to set some boundaries. So there are so many things that we, especially as women, are doing for other people. And a lot of times it causes us to put ourselves on the back burner. And sometimes even when we are investing in ourselves, we invest in a coach like the one I spoke of earlier, who basically makes you feel guilty if something doesn't work, or if you're not like disciplined enough or something like that. And the truth is, most likely the plan that they have you on is so restrictive and not realistic that it's just hurting you in the long run. And that is not the approach I take with my coaching. You can ask any of my clients. So hopefully you get a little bit out of this, whether you're watching the replay or you have your own experience with people that have treated you like that, coaches. I even know like coaches in athletic departments that have done this, where they're basically gaslighting their team and talking down to them and making them feel like they need to lose weight or X, Y, and Z. And it's just not okay. I'm not okay with it, and I'm not going to stand for that anymore. So if you want to talk about this more, feel free to slide into my DMs. I'd love to have this conversation. If you are struggling with setting boundaries and you're like, I don't even know how to say no, I don't know how to prioritize my needs, I'm struggling, like, reach out. That's why I'm here. That's why I do what I do. So thank you guys for joining today, watching the replay, everything. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I will see you next time.
Thanks again for listening to Confidently Uncomfortable. I love being able to connect with you here, and honestly, don't want it to end. So head over to my Facebook group, Body Confident Blueprint, and be sure to follow me on Insta at J.Go Fit Life. Also, if you're ready to get real confidently uncomfortable, go leave this podcast a 5-star review and email me the review screenshot, support@jgofit360.com, for a chance to win a free 30-minute fitness audit and goal setting session. I appreciate your support. See you next time.